Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyasifunde iy'ncwadi zethu zesiZulu. Bese sizala soxoxa ngale tori esuke siyifundile sixoxela laba abanqenayo ukufunda nalaba abangenaso isikhathi sokuthi bayifunde. Siyaphinda sibuka ama-reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese sizala sizokhuluma ngawo. Guys, if you hear some noises, I have my angel here as my co-presenter. She is my editor or director. She's one of the two. She's the crew. So yeah, senza nama-reality shows ethu. So izolo ebusuku I posted two videos. One video was us talking about ama-comments enu with regards to the last video I had done about uMakhumalo, and then I also posted a review episode. Guys, if you come to my channel, you're going to hear me talk the whole time. If the video is 40 minutes, it's 40 minutes of me talking. If it's 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes of me talking. That's just how I do my channel. So don't be commenting what I talk too much, because if you are here, the channel unless at some point I decide to bring guests, then you will hear even more people talk, because that's what my channel is about. Also, I always put, because I do not want to manipulate as such, I always put Uthando Nesithembu season 5 episode bunny. If I'm talking about a preview, I say preview. Sometimes I even put it in capital letters, and then I would say review, because I want to my clicker on my video to know it's a review, it's not the actual episode. I will never post an actual episode on my channel. My channel is still growing, and I don't want to get strikes because of copyright issues. Ama-episodes akuwona wami, but i-commentary it's mine, so mina ngikhuluma ngayo episode. So if you don't want that, don't click on my video and then bese uyacomplain ukuthi wena bewufuna the actual episode, hamba ubuka kuyilokhuzana uMzansi Magic episode, lana siya-discussa what happened ku-episode. We don't post the actual episode. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to clarify. But guys, throughout the day today, I was at work, and throughout the day, I'm reading your comments at the same time. And a lot of the comments obviously are about the situation kaMangwabe noMacele, and about that situation ney'ngane, ukuthi iy'ngane zibingelele uMangwabe allegedly. Ngoba sasingekho zibingelela, sazi nalosikwenzeka, kodwa-ke uMangwabe uvumile ukuthi yes, iy'ngane zafika. In that situation uyayikhumbula, and wangavuma. And a lot of the Nami, I had an issue with when I was doing a review, which why did Umacele not approach Umangwabe prior to a trip, even on the day that the kids came, the same time the kids came, bazomtshela ukuthi umamncane wabo akazange ababingelele back. Why didn't she just call uMangwabe clarify that situation idlule? Why fanele aze abe dramatic azoyikhipha before a trip? And I think Kuma comments as well, a lot of people had that issue. So why did she not approach her before? And also, why manje sebe-tripping, sebe-decidile umyeni wabo is trying to bring everybody together. And why now, just before a trip, she felt the need to mention it there? Because obviously, kuzoba ne-tension. On top of that, why did Umselego decide, you know, to ukuthi ayikhulume right there and then when they are just excited going on a trip? Did you not think, angithi sonke nje siyacabanga ukuthi that thing, there was no way ukuthi that thing wouldn't cause i-drama between them? Why Umseleki yena angakucabanganga lokho ukuthi lento izokhoza i-drama between amakhosikazi wakhe? Okay, but I had to ukuthi today ngifake what do you call it? Spectacles now, but not these ones, not these ones, not these. I had to wear the other ones, the reality show spectacles, because I've watched a lot of reality shows, and I listen to a lot of reviews. I'm a reality shows, even I say American shows. I watch the reviews a lot. And I watch them behind the scenes because I always want to understand how these shows work. And I think that yes, i-reaction yethu to the way uMacele handled that situation, and the way that Umsele, i-right reaction yethu based on what ama-producers show gave to us. Based on that, it's right vele to say ukuthi uMacele wrong by bringing that situation right there before a trip. But let's think about it this way. I want us to think about it really honestly. Number one, guys, in most cases, when it comes to reality shows, people in the show do not plan their own trips, they do not plan their own dates, their own outings. They don't. Even ama-reality shows where you find that umuntu uzothi mhlambe uhlala in Joburg, I'm gonna go home to whatever. That thing is pre-planned. Sometimes solely by the producers, and sometimes obviously they work together. So like, you know what, we need to find some. We need you to do something a little bit more interesting. So what are we gonna do? Maybe you should go home. Uyobona abantu bakini in Natali or something. You know. So izinto ey'njalo we must first understand that they are not planned, even though phela ngeke bathi-ke kodwa futhi on the show bathi, oh, ama-producers asifanele trip. No, they're not gonna say that. They're gonna find a way to say, okay, Mselegu, we're gonna say that you are planning a trip for your family. First, they know ama-producers ukuthi ama-trip when it's only the wives, ane-drama, but not that much. Because i-tension enkulu iba khona makukhona umseleku. So they don't want to miss that opportunity. So every season they're going to have that trip where umseleku is there, so they can get the drama, so they can get the reactions of the wives, they can get the tensions of the tension between the wives. That dynamic works for them when they present the show to us. The fact that about Amakoska's Awazwani works very well for the producers for the show. So now let's think about it this way. Number one, let's consider the possibility of that trip was not planned by Umselig, it was planned by the producers. They might have asked them to be like, okay, do you think going to this particular place, you like going to this particular place or not? They looked at the pictures, they looked at the room, and they're like, yeah, right. And they booked the place for them. And even to the point where they would decide which room goes to which wife, because however way they're going to allocate those rooms, they're going to think of a way that is going to cause more drama, you know. So we have to consider that. So now ngifuna siqale kule scene lena kaMacele when ezongena in that bus abahamba ngayo. Okay, number one, if you think about that, if it was really like reality and it wasn't scripted and it wasn't pre-planned, then they would have been there with the cameras, and then mabengena emotweni, mabeqeda ukungena emotweni, the camera, the crew would have gone nayo bayongena elokhuzweni ey'motweni zabo to follow them phela ukuthi bayi-tripping. But the cameras there laphayana in the mabengena ebhasini, it was set up. They were there waiting to shoot that scene between uMacele benoLukhuzana, benomselo. Think about it. How did they know ukuthi they needed to wait for that scene? Ukuthi there was a because besekhanjwa. How did the crew know ukuthi khona iscene ezoba khona phakathi kukaMseleku benolona? They're going to decide to have that conversation before bangena emotweni. The reason that they knew that is because it was planned by them. Number one, this is what I think is the possibility. I think that because the trip was planned by the owners of the show, or the producers of the show, they probably called all the cast members and said, listen, we're thinking of planning a trip on this day. Obviously, it's going to be like your husband plans it. Are you available? And all of them are like available. Because if you think about it, it was planned on the day when everybody was available. These wives are working, but all of them availed themselves for that trip. Okay, are you available or whatever? And then maybe uMacele was like, I mean, angiyilapho mina etriphini yenu. And then they're like, ha, why ungafuni ukuhamba? And then she's like, oh, shame, ukuthi nje ngisadinga umbali. This is me being dramatic, but it's a possibility. Hayi ukuthi ngisadinga umbali, wenzeni manje umbali ubingelelwe yingane zami, what. Okay, they convince her, listen, you have to go to the trip because we're shooting a show and sifuna ukunishutha nonke ninonke as a family. Sifuna ukunishutha ninonke as a family, so you have to go. But listen, Macele, also it's an opportunity for you, you know, to discuss it with your husband, to discuss it with also Umbali, and maybe you guys can resolve it, you know? And then she's like, oh, okay. And then she's like, you know what? And then the producers or whoever speaks to them prior is like, okay, you know what? So that TPN ihambe kahle seniresolvile izinto, make sure let's do a scene where you talk to Musa about this issue so you get his reaction. Okay. And then they're like, okay, no, fine. What we'll do is that then we'll do just a short scene where you are talking to Umselego about this particular issue. and then they do that. So yes, uMacele obvious akafosile ukuthi akhulume ngale scene lena ngale issue lena at that particular time, but at the same time that scene was set up by the producers. It was influenced by them to say, okay, we're going to shoot this scene right now before you get in the car. You know what I mean? So as much as we can blame Macele and say she brought up that issue just before the trip, but we have to think of it, the influence of the crew show, which they pushed that scene to happen. They possibly pushed that scene to happen at that particular time because vele bebefuna ukuthi kube dramatic. Bangagcina lapho. Because masubuka ibhasi iyile yayolanda abantu kaMayeni yahamba yolanda abantu kaMakhumalo. They didn't show us a conversation between Mseleku noMakhumalo, Mseleku noMayeni. If there was an issue, because every time bezongena ebhasini, he has a conversation with the wife. Every time bezongena ebhasini, he has a conversation with the wife. That wasn't the case. But masefika kaMangwabe, he had that conversation. Why? Because mawubuka uma ngabe ephuma endlini, uma ngabe uphuma sengathi ulindele ukuthi yena uye ebhasini, and then umseleku stops her because umseleku knew already ukuthi they had to shoot that scene. Amakhamera amlandelile to umnyango laphayana kaMangwabi ukuze ashuthe that scene. And uMangwabi looked like she wasn't aware ukuthi she needed to do that scene because she didn't even know ukuthi there was an issue. So I think possibly the only reaction esingayithatha as a natural reaction from this whole situation is i-reaction kaMangwabe ngoba uyena kuphela umuntu obukeka engathi uyathuka ukuthi kushuthwa le scene ngoba uma ephuma endlini uphume engathi ufuna ukuyihambela emotweni, and then uba surprise mase stopha uhusband yakhe, which means uhusband was already told by producers because no, we have a small scene that we want to shoot between you and Mangwabe, making her aware of the situation. Maybe they convinced him by saying, you know what, pretend as if mhlampe into maybe bathe asenze ngathi mhlampe ufuna ukuthi uyi-resolve le issue. No, or they said ukuthi, you know what, it would be a great idea if you guys resolve this issue so that you can have fun on a trip, you know. And now he thought ukuthi, okay, let me just talk to Mangwabi so I can find out what happened so that masiye tripping everything is fine and resolved. So that's why I'm saying what sometimes when we watch these shows, guys, we have to put on our glasses, our reality shows. Think about the behind the scenes, think about the setup of the scene, and it's about because how do they react to the fact that they shoot at that particular scene. And then they get back elokhuzweni elokhuzweni umuzi lo sengithi umuzi lodge or whatever that they're going to the place, hotel, whatever, and they get there, and then ilokhuzana room kaMangwabe is listen, if it's poster la on YouTube episode, go and watch reaction kaMangwabe and what she says about the room. She said, you know what, whoever booked that room for me, she's a darling. Ngiyambonga kakhulu. And akashongo ukuthi ngiyambonga umusi ukuthi ngoba umbiza ngoMthombeni, ngiyambonga uMthombeni ukuthi ungibhukhele i-room elikude nabanye abantu so I can have peace. Uthe ngiyambonga lo muntu. And she was looking at almost like, you know what I'm talking about, almost like she's saying to the person on interviewer, you know what I'm talking about. You know why? Because the room was not booked by Mseleko. The room was booked by the crew. I-crew emthathela uMangwabe eyombeka lapha eceleni. And you know, and already it's possible that she already had said to them, please make sure that I get a roommate who separate nabanye. And Mayabonga, she's thanking i-crew ukuthi bamfake kwi-room separate from abanye abantu. So think about that, guys. I know ukuthi sometimes ufuna ukubadinela ngoba nabo bayadina sometimes, but kwesinye isikhathi asikubuki ukuthi bakwishow labantu laba over and above ukuthi they get set up a lot by i-crew yelokhuzana yeshow. Sometimes they find them in scenes that they did not expect while the other party knew what it was about. It's like that leya scene kaMacele benoMakhumalo. uMacele knew what the scene was going to be about, but uMakhumalo got a surprise of her life and it wasn't comfortable for her. uMangwabe was in the same situation when she was walking out the door. They get set up a lot by amalokhuzana, producers of the show. But so our reactions are, sometimes we can't judge them so much because of that. And on top of that, they get set up like that. And on top of that, mhlampe umsele kube noma ngabe nje bakhulume for like 15 minutes and we only saw like 2 or 3 minutes of that conversation. So khona izinto uma ngabe ayishilo that we don't get to hear. Khona izinto umsele kayishilo that we don't get to hear. So we have to think about that too. Guys, I have to but I thought I was gonna read your comments on this video. I will read it in the next video. When I'm reading comments, also abantu laba abadinwayo ukuthi already if ufuna i-comment yakho ifunde, just write it down kule video or the one before, and then the next video ngizobe sengiyayifunda i-comment yakho. And guys, I reply to every single comment. If i-comment yakho ngiyidlulile, iphutha lelo. If I don't put a heart on your comment, iphutha lelo. Every comment that comes in, I put a heart, I reply. I put a heart and I reply because I really appreciate your interaction and it helps my videos a lot. And thank you so much, guys. And my stats say a lot of my revenue comes from skippable adverts, meaning that a lot of you guys are not skipping the adverts that you could possibly skip. There's also an advert evelayo here on the video while it's playing. If you can, if it doesn't distract you that much, just leave it there because it also makes me make some money. There's also something on the corners at this side or that side that comes up. It actually contacts the advertiser. If you're interested in whatever it is that they're advertising, click there and go to their website. It also increases my revenue. Thank you so much ukuthi nibuke ivideo yami. Listen, it's a weekend and anginayo uneni this weekend usekhaya, so I can't go anywhere. So I'll be talking a lot to you guys. So ngizobe ngenza a lot of the videos, ama-reality shows. But I never forget about abantu bami bencwadi because that's our first love. So thank you so much for watching this video. Ungaphumi ungayilayikanga, and please share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ngithanda